Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So yes, did one yesterday, and as usual with these things, we're waiting like a week plus for news, and then a bunch of stuff kind of hits all at once. Just again, a reminder, like in the video yesterday, Free RPG Day is tomorrow, Saturday, June 22nd. Magpie Games will be featured as part of this, and you will be able to get Rebels and Refugees Quickstart, the new adventure set in the 100-Year War era if you attend an event. You can go to this website and click this link here to find out if you do have a participating store near you to get some new Avatar content. But what I was informed of in the comments on my video yesterday is that, hey, were you aware that there was the new quick start guide for this book up on Drive-Thru RPG for free? And it includes a new adventure. And this is what's weird about this. I don't remember Magpie ever mentioning anything about this, that there would be a sort of standard, like a generic quick start. I suppose this is effectively meant to be the kind of replacement for the Forbidden Scroll one that we got as like the preview. What's interesting about it is that like it's a quick start guide for the game, but it does feature the Storm over Linsho adventure. So it's got a brand new adventure in it. It's an Aang era adventure. This is very recent. You can see here this was just added to the catalog earlier this week. And again, until I was told in the comments, I don't remember this actually being kind of like told to us, but that's what's going on here. You can see here 32-page condensed rules, pre-written adventure, Storm over Linsho, and 5 pre-generated characters. I have it here. I will do a video on Storm over Linsho. I just need to spend some more time going over it myself before I get around to doing it. But here is the basic description of it, just so you're aware. What's interesting about this is Linsho is a former Fire Nation colony. They highlight that this is not as old of a colony as like Yu Dao. So it has actually been full on given back, to the Earth Kingdom, and they mention, the Harmony Restoration movement kind of is involved in this, and there's a big issue going on in Linsho over basically this sort of politics stuff that some of the comics have dealt with. It looks like it dives quite heavily into that sort of stuff of like a lot of characters who have that kind of now mixed kind of heritage. They feel like they're Earth Kingdom, but they also feel like they're Fire Nation. And what do they do in this new era? Does it seem like the most interesting adventure? I would say perhaps not, but I do need to read through it in full to see who the characters are. But it seems very like to the point, I would say. Standard. It's not as maybe complex as some of the other ones, but interesting enough. So that is, as I showed you guys here, a free download. So all you have to do is get a Drive-Thru RPG account, and then you can just buy this for $0 and download a PDF. So that is good. And they still have the other one available. Movers and Shakers Quickstart is also available still, along with all the other stuff. And then the assumption is that Rebels and Refugees, the one for Free RPG Day, will be put up for free in a couple of months' time, probably. Now, the main event here is this. Still no, excerpt for Reckoning of Roku, but Randy Rabai got his copies of the books, and showed us off the back cover, which we have not seen. And if you know the back cover, they don't have the blurb there. Instead, these books, of course, have the blurb on the inside kind of cover here. So we've seen that before. There's nothing new there. But the back cover, of course, has a little bit of an excerpt. So it's effectively a page of content, and that gives you a sense for what's going on. This is the first time we've actually got a sense for text that's actually inside the book. So that's pretty interesting. We'll go back to that in a second. And as expected, it is going to be red underneath the kind of slip dust cover thing, obviously. Still highlighting, July 23rd is the release and stuff like that. He highlights there is a contest going on right now. But let's talk about our first preview page, basically, for this book. So, Soil and rock pressed into Roku from all sides. He was encased, crushed, unable to move any part of his body. His pulse raced. Was Ta Min okay? He needed to help her. Could he enter the avatar state? He focused. He could not. Some avatar he was. If they ever updated the lives of the avatar, Roku was certain his entry was going to be no more than a couple lines. Then he remembered the sonorous voice of Sister Daisha. Breathe. Obviously, Roku thought. Roku focused on slowing his breathing. He wasn't confident this would help him escape, but at least he wouldn't die panicking. Maybe that was good for his reincarnation. Roku was about to take another breath when he felt the soil around him shift. Something pulled him upward until he burst through the ground as if he'd been spit up onto its surface. He fell onto all fours, coughing and spitting out dirt. He couldn't believe it. He actually used earthbending to save them. Maybe he wouldn't be such a failure of an avatar after all. You're welcome, came Gyatso's smarmy voice. So straight away, you're kind of like, wait, how does Roku get himself encased in Earth? Obviously, we know the plot is Roku and Gyatso getting themselves involved in a mission basically that Roku is asked to go on by Sozin to intervene in a dispute between the Earth Kingdom and the Fire Nation about a fire island. So that would imply that Roku comes up against Earthbenders, the soldiers of whoever the kind of Earth Kingdom villain is. What is it? The Earth King, probably, given what we know of the Earth King of this era. That's an interesting point if you know the lore about the Roku era. So maybe this is Roku getting himself in a little bit over his head, and he maybe gets beaten by a bunch of Earth Kingdom soldiers, Earthbenders, and that's why he ends up kind of encased here. The "was Ta Min okay" line is super interesting because I think in initial speculation it's kind of like, how surely she probably doesn't come into play. There might be some references in terms of Roku talking about her in the past, but surely like there was no real chance of her being involved in the present day story. Whereas this is very much okay, he started this training. Ta Min, he obviously knows something has happened here. This obviously places her as being involved in what's happening, whether she comes to see Roku or whatever way the Fire Nation is actually involved in the dispute. Maybe Ta Min's family is actually the ones kind of leading the Fire Nation efforts on that side of things. So he's personally involved in this because it is Ta Min's family potentially. He's trying to help on the Fire Nation side of this conflict. But he's highlighting that he knows she's in danger in some way. He needs to get to her to help her to the point where he feels he needs to use the avatar state, but of course can't because he's so early on in his training. That's super interesting in terms of like, okay, we're going to get some Ta Min, I guess. That's going to be exciting to see how they develop that relationship because, of course, Ta Min, if you forget, is the character who will, after this, of course, go on to become Roku's wife. So, interesting stuff there. In-universe book reference, The Lives of the Avatar. I think all of us want to read that book because it probably has a lot of information that we don't know that we would really, really like as Avatar fans to know about. Sister Daisha reference, but not too much to say there. And then, based on Gyatso coming in at the end, I'm guessing the idea here is that Roku doesn't earthbend and actually just Gyatso, I suppose, just airbends him out. Because I think we know from the description, I think it's like here, he actually hasn't even managed to grasp the basic airbending principles himself. And air is meant to be his second element, and typically they've kept it with the idea that they tend to not overly, skip the element order, that sort of thing. So we'll see what exactly is going on here, but it definitely seems like Gyatso was the one who helped him out here, and it's going to be interesting to follow the idea of, okay, Roku comes into this as a strong firebender, but not really seeming like he's anywhere with the other elements, and we're going to want to see that progress and what moments get him to the point where he maybe does proper airbending for the first time. And that's maybe where Gyatso helping him might come into play, given that they go on to become such good friends. And that's going to be one of the key elements of this book, I think, is the Gyatso going from being like annoying person he knows to one of his best friends kind of ever type thing. And yeah, they're highlighting the idea of, obviously, early on in his training, things are not going well. He is not succeeding at pretty much anything. Avatar state, no. Airbending, no. Earthbending, no. And I'm guessing so far in the mission, no. So we need to see some progress with Roku, of course. But yeah, otherwise, we're just waiting for the excerpt. Like, it's getting to the point where in 2 days, so on the 23rd, it's going to be exactly 1 month to go. So it kind of feels like this weekend should be when they put out that excerpt. What outlet has it? Of course, we don't know. Are they going to do it in maybe a different way than we expect? There's going to be an audio excerpt, I guess, shortly after that, I guess. But we're fast approaching release here. Historically, outside of just audio excerpt, there's never too much like crazy marketing for these books in terms of here's the big thing 2 weeks before release, here's the big thing 1 week before release. It's just they do the very obvious stuff to market the book. I do feel they could do more. I would especially like to see the official Avatar YouTube channel do some stuff like put up a chapter of the audiobook on the official Avatar YouTube channel. I think that would do wonders for the book if you just put up chapter 1 and highlight that, hey, buy the book in this way or that way. That feels super obvious, but they don't, for whatever reason, do that. Maybe they're going to be a little bit better about that, of course. You can see here Nancy Wu highlighting that, yeah, she does in fact read the audiobook. But we knew that from a while ago, obviously, but it's nice to see her mention it here. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video. So again, as a bit of a recap here, there is a new Avatar Quickstart, including a brand new adventure available right now. Tomorrow, another new adventure for the RPG is going to be available if you attend Free RPG Day in a participating store. Check the link in the description if you have one, of course. And then, yes, a bit of a preview, a small preview for the Reckoning of Roku, with the main things here being Ta Min involved somehow, and some slight interesting details here with what's going on, but we definitely want to know more. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on all this stuff, but that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.